Alrighty, happy football season. Welcome back. How we doing?
Dude, I'm doing good. I'm really excited. Student tickets came out today too, so I found out I get to go to Georgia, Texas. So I'm really excited about that. And yeah, it was a good day.
Dude, you're growing up. Mustache, summertime. School's already started for you?
Yeah. It started middle of last week. Just had our first full week of school. That's not fun, but we get football, so that's even more fun.
Dude, we'll get into Georgia in a second, but of course they expanded the playoffs. We're gonna get primetime games, and you guys got Marshall and Austin P as your first two games. So
Oh,
as
yeah.
much as things change, some things stay the same. But all right, let's make some money tomorrow, or at least let's try to make some money tomorrow. They're playing in Ireland. It's Kansas State and Iowa State. I want to talk about that game. I'm going to let you roll, and then we'll get into some future bets for college football. So just take the floor if you don't mind. Why don't we start anywhere you want? Iowa State, Kansas State in Ireland. They're playing at noon tomorrow, right?
Yeah. It's a noon start. And when you're talking about these games overseas, especially with college athletes, you really got to like look at historical data and also kind of not pay too much attention to the defenses because the defense will be strong for both teams. Offenses are typically more sluggish in other countries and stuff. It's just kind of been how it historically has gone. And the main thing on offense that works the best is typically running the football. It's just easier, less thinking. You just hand the ball off to a running back. He knows what he's going to do. It normally works. If you're thinking about it from that perspective, it's definitely Kansas State. Avery Johnson, who I've loved since last year. I've loved basically since he's been in college. I think he's incredible. Great dual threat quarterback. They have DJ Giddens, Dylan Edwards, two really good running backs. I think the Kansas State running game is really electric, really dynamic. I think you need Avery Johnson to pass well enough to win the game. And I know I've been wrong on Avery Johnson over and over again. This feels like the year where he's supposed to take a step forward. Kansas State are Big 12 favorites right now. They really need to win this game to stay that way. On the other side, Iowa State, really good pass offense. Rocco Becht, probably one of the best like passing quarterbacks in college right now. There are obviously other really good options. You have to like Garrett Nussmeier. He isn't Garrett Nussmeier, but he's a really good like second tier version of him. He's also surrounded by Jalen Noel and I think was it Jaden Higgins, two amazing receivers. I love both of them. They're more possession guys, more deep threat. They are not as fast, but they are much better like receivers. They run routes well. They're really good. So I look at.
I'm sorry. Keep going. Keep going.
Oh yeah, so like I look at both these offenses. I think the defenses kind of cancel out. I think what you look at here is Rocco Becht's gonna need to be really nails for week one. You're asking a lot of him to win this game kind of by himself. I feel like it'll be him and the receivers primarily. I lean towards Kansas State because they have the two running backs that can back up Avery Johnson, who already has a backup if he has a bad throwing game in that he can run for 100 yards a game. We've seen him do it a ton of times. He's really good at that. I lean Kansas State. I think the line's great on this game at I think it's 3.5 towards Kansas State. I love that line. I think if you're betting spread here, again, it's out of the country. It's week one. It's tough to predict. I lean towards Kansas State winning this game by 4-7. So it's really good line. I think it'll be a really close game. I lean towards Kansas State. I think they're the better team. I think they're better prepared for a game in another country. And again, yeah, I think they're bringing back a little more. I think they're probably the favorites for me.
Iowa State overachieved last year. They made the Big 12 championship game, fell flat to Arizona State. And Kansas State did they underachieve last year? Or they figured right about where they should have been.
I think that they're a tough team to gauge because, again, Avery Johnson had games last year where he looked like the best quarterback in college football. He had games where he looked like a guy you just wouldn't want to start. They lost games they shouldn't have lost. They won games they shouldn't have won. I think this year you want consistency from them. I think that he's a year older. He's a year better. I think they got their run game, again, year older, year better. I think what you need to see from Kansas State here is just consistency. Every drive should feel like it's building onto itself instead of kind of frenzied, which at times Kansas State felt like. I think they performed in the end. It all kind of met towards where they probably should have ended up. I think they need to be able to beat Iowa State. The one thing about Iowa State, you make those mistakes, they won't let you get away with them. They're really good at just playing constant. But again, passing game overseas, it's a tough thing to ask week one. We watched DJ with Florida State last year really struggle. I will always lean the team that runs the ball more when you're talking about an overseas week one game.
I love it. So philosophy goes towards Kansas State. Opinion on the tempo of the game. The total's 51.5.
Yeah, again, these are two really good offenses. So again, it's a low over under. I probably do lean over, but again, like they're clearly pricing it knowing that it's overseas, knowing that the offenses will be it'll be a little ugly at first. Like I know everyone remembers last year Georgia Tech returns a kick. It's like this is the kind of stuff that can happen in games. I'd lean over because again, these are two really good offenses. I don't see both of them scoring in like 20 to 25 point range. One of them I think will get to 30. One of those teams gets to 30, this game should clear the over.
All righty. Okay. Any of the other games? It's Idaho State, UNLV, Fresno State, Kansas, Sam Houston State, Western Kentucky, and then Stanford, Hawaii. Thoughts on any of the other games?
I do like watching Kansas. I really like watching Jalen Daniels play. I think he's super fun. I think he's got a ton to prove this year. Maybe check into that game, see how he's looking. He's a really good guy. He's a really good quarterback with potential that really underperformed last year.
They're favored by 14 against Fresno State. Is that surprising?
I don't see it too surprising. I think there are 2 touchdowns better than Fresno State. Again, I think if he plays badly, it ends up being a 1-possession game. I think if Jalen Daniels has a good game, that ends up being a blowout. He's probably out of the game by the 4th. The only other thing I want to say, Western Kentucky, I went to high school with a guy on that team, No Mac, really good deep threat receiver. If you want to tune into that game, he might be fun to watch. Super dynamic, super fun.
All right, cool. Appreciate it. So, quick note, starting next week, we will go live when all the games are starting. So we'll be able to just boom, rapid fire. People want to join us, ask questions. I look forward to doing that. And then as far as what I want to talk about with you today, because we got, like we said, just a handful of games. And then Thursday night, Boise State, South Florida, then it just starts. Then we just have nonstop football for forever. So Kansas State, Iowa State's the headline tomorrow. Then you get 4 more games to choose from. But the way we're going to do things this year is pretty much exactly the same as far as you're concerned. The only difference, for the audience will be hopefully a wider audience of anybody who wants to listen. And we will go live because I think, I guess I'm biased, but your wealth of college football knowledge is, I like listening to you. I think anybody who's going to bet on college football or just wants to learn more will benefit from just hearing your thoughts, random thoughts, betting thoughts. So you'll be here all college football season. And we'll talk NFL stuff too, I'm sure. But primarily, we're going to focus on college football. And with that in mind, I figured we'd go to your bread and butter for this afternoon with the SEC because there's so many, different headlines. I figured we'd get into the weeds of it, though, and not necessarily, put your feet to the fire for future bets because I know you're not, just for anybody that's listening for the first time or just to refresh, Jack, nicknamed JMart, is not going to get rich betting on sports. That's not the pipe dream here. He'll probably get rich doing something else more complicated that nobody can understand right now if he started talking about it. But I think it's like everybody else, like the everyman, right? We're trying to figure out how to make some money. Where's there an edge? And my philosophy, and then I'll give you the floor, is if you can find some future bets before the season or early in the season, because if you're right about teams, you always get the best odds on the favorites, as early as possible into the season. So let's just go through it with the SEC. We'll probably get to Georgia. Yeah, let me just start with Georgia. Let you just rant and rave because you couldn't stand Carson Beck. He's gone. I know you feel better. He's in Miami. You got the Gunner Stockton. I'll ask you for one more time to relive what the hell happened against Notre Dame and how they're going to fix it. And thank you for Malachi Starks because I feel good about that. So go ahead.
Yeah. So going into this season, I have to be honest, I've lived in Athens my whole life. This is the closest to a Mark Richt season that it's felt like going in a really long time. There's not a ton of energy around the program right now. It's a little interesting. Obviously, Georgia going into this year has the highest star ranking of a roster in college football. They have the most 4 and 5 stars. They have, from a high school class ranking perspective, the best roster in college football, which is great. The bad part is that there isn't that much energy around the team. There's not really this feeling of they got better. We lost a lot of key players in the draft. We lost even more in the transfer portal. We did bring in good guys. Zachariah Branch, I'm really excited about. Josh McCray from Illinois, obviously super excited about. Jaden Harris from Miami, super, super excited about. But
what position are those three guys?
Oh, yeah. Zach Branch is a receiver. McCray is a running back. Jaden Harris is a safety. But my main concern, and this is the first time this has been a concern since probably 2020, is quarterback. I haven't heard a ton of good stuff about Gunnar Stockton coming out of practice. Everyone's basically said he's fine, but it's nothing special, which is something Kirby likes, but isn't exactly what Georgia needs. Even with Stetson, who we can all agree was above average, but was inconsistent, there were still these levels he could show where he could show that he's a truly great quarterback at times. No one's really seen that from Gunnar yet. We've seen grit. We've seen him work his ass off. We haven't really seen him show that he can pass.
Stetson Bennett Light. Is that what I'm hearing?
That's what people want him to be. I just don't see the passing game that Stetson had. I don't think he has the arm. It's a big concern of mine. Again, I've been saying it since I saw him play. The release is too long, which means he's going to take sacks he shouldn't take. He's going to fumble the ball trying to throw it because his release is bad. He goes down. He doesn't go out first. It's a concern of mine. And the other concern is that Ryan Puglisi, his backup, from what I've heard, has looked more dynamic. He's looked like a guy that can make the deep passes. He looks like the kind of guy that, in my opinion, you kind of want on a Georgia team that's going to be run heavy. You can't let them just creep up to the line of scrimmage. With Gunnar Stockton, they can. With a guy like Puglisi, they can force it deep.
What's the O-line look like?
The O-line got better. There's guys competing for spots. We have 4 and 5 stars everywhere competing for spots. There's just not a lot of continuity. And there's a lot of inconsistencies. There are going to be mistakes. It's a young O-line. It's not the best O-line. You want them to take a step forward. You hope they do. I can't assume it can get much worse than it was last season, but I don't expect it to be some out-of-this-world improvement.
Was Ratledge the best player last year on the offensive line?
It would have been him, yeah. Him or
do you think he's a plug-and-play for the Lions? I know we went off topic, but it's been on my mind.
I think from what I've been hearing out of Lions camp, he's looked amazing. And he's super tall, super athletic. He'll end up starting for the Lions at some point. It's just, again, he was drafted later than the average guy. Those guys typically take longer than they should to break in just because of draft position and stuff.
So we got a young offensive line, a weak passing game, a couple transfers. You don't sound super happy. Defensively, what do we got over there for Georgia?
Defensively, it's Georgia. So again, it's the same thing. You're looking at a lot of vacancy. A lot of people left, but they brought in 4 and 5 stars to replace them. Mm-hmm. And the defense, you can feel more confident with that in because this has been happening since 2021, and they just kept replacing. They keep adding another good player every single position. Dalen Everett's still there. He's phenomenal. I expect the defense to be a Georgia defense.
What position is that kid?
Dalen Everett's a corner, and he's locked down. He looks like probably one of the best corners in the 2026 draft class.
And that's what they were weak against last year, right? Mm-hmm. Back 7.
And so you have another year of him developing. You have other guys. KJ Bolden has another year to get better. He's a safety corner combo guy. So the defense, I think, will be solid. And it does sound like a lot of negatives around Georgia. But at the end of the day, this is all talking about national championship comparisons. I think they're a team that should be considered a favorite? I don't even think no. I think this is a Georgia team that should be happy to make the playoffs and happy to win a game and just really take it from there, because there aren't the expectations, I feel like, in Athens for anything more than that. We just kind of want to see an improvement back towards a national championship. This doesn't feel like the year you need to win it. But it feels like a year where you should be looking to at least do something, and that'll be consistent across the SEC this year. It's a lot of teams that don't feel like they're there right now that are just going to really want to just take it game by game, see how the season grows.
And last point on Georgia, schedule-wise, favorable, not favorable?
Super favorable this year. You get Bama and Texas at home. That's major. You have matchups against Ole Miss, who I'm not super high on. You get Kentucky, which is always a blessing. And then, Florida playing all these guys.
Where are you going? You going anywhere fun?
Maybe Tennessee. Interested in Tennessee. That's probably the one hard game there. And then even there, we can make an argument it's not that difficult of a game. So,
yeah, we'll get to them in a minute. All right, cool. So Georgia, wait and see. Sounds like if you weren't such a big fan, maybe fade Georgia. I hear a lot of red flags listening to you. All right, Texas. Arch Manning, go ahead. Why don't we lead with him? Give me a few minutes on him and the Texas offense.
Yeah, like Arch Manning, like expectations are about as high as it's been for probably any quarterback prospect. I can't think of a quarterback prospect with more expectations than Arch Manning going into this season. He doesn't have the weapons Quinn Ewers had last year. He lost a ton of receivers, and they didn't really replace him the best. He lost offensive line depth. That's going to suck. Like, you don't want to – it's his first year starting consistently. His offensive line's weaker. That's not great. The plus side is the run game's still great. They lose Jaden Blue. They replace him with C.J. Baxter, who was hurt all year last year, and Wisner is still there at running back too. Obviously, like, you've lost guys. The offense isn't as talented, but the guys like Ryan Wingo, I do expect to take a step forward. Guys like, I think it's DeAndre Moore, I expect to continue to be a pretty solid contributor at wide receiver. I look at the team. They're obviously the AP number 1 right now, I believe. Again, they're more of a wait-and-see team on offense. You expect Arch Manning to do really well. He probably will. He has enough weapons, but he doesn't have the same weapons as Ewers.
What kind of offense will they run?
So it's Steve Sarkisian, so it will be kind of run RPO focused primarily, which, to be fair, pairs really well with Arch Manning's play style. They're going to have him mobile. They're going to have him moving around. They're going to have him doing fun receiving stuff with the running backs, screen ball. Like, it's going to be a very dynamic offense. That's what Sarkisian's great at. The team's well built for that. Like, I think the system fits Arch Manning better than it ever fit Quinn Ewers, which does make me like pretty optimistic. And I do think they probably are today the best team in the SEC. The biggest question mark for me is the defensive line. They lost everything there. They don't have – the defensive line is completely different. It's not the same punishing line that they had last year that basically controlled the entire game. The good news for them is the back 8 are great. Every single other person on that defense, they didn't lose a lot on the defense outside of the defensive line. So the secondary will be a strength. The linebackers will be a strength. I think they're a really good team. They have more continuity than Georgia. I think they're more dynamic than Georgia. They're a team that I can see losing 2 games that they maybe shouldn't lose, but they're going to be, in my opinion, much more surgical down the stretch than a team like Georgia. I personally like them the most for the SEC championship. I know it's not a very hot take, but just going into this season, the dynamicism, the continuity on defense, they feel pretty stable to me.
Yeah, and I thought Ewers just wasn't very good. Just watching him, I don't know. So I think they'll get better at quarterback. Interesting what you said about the defensive line. All right, what team would you put? Where would you like to go next? Alabama?
We can do Bama because, again, they're another really interesting team. Like, they're one that I feel like some people have counted out because quarterback changeover, a lot of stuff's happened there. But
yeah, go ahead. Tell us who the quarterback's going to be.
The quarterback?
Who the quarterback's going to be?
That's the thing I'm checking right now. I just forgot. It's Ty Simpson. Yeah. So he was backup last year, high ranked prospect, really good player, really good dual threat player. So the good news for them is they lose Jalen Milroe, replacing him with another dual threat. That's great. That's incredible. And they didn't lose a lot else on that offense. Like, they brought in Isaiah Horton from Miami, a guy I've really liked as like a deep threat. They obviously still, elephant in the room, they still have Ryan Williams. Ryan Williams is pretty great at football. He gets another year to develop. He's now only 18. So he's got a lot of improving to still do in his career. And again, the main key with them, the main reason I like them a lot is that continuity. They didn't lose that much. If they lost something, they replaced it basically 1-to-1. Like, this isn't counting on prospects to get better. They have a lot of proven college guys that are coming in that are really good already that should continue to be really good. I absolutely love them.
Defensively, did they refresh my memory first of all? Defensively, did they struggle last year, and what's it look like going into this year? You're good. You still there?
What just happened?
It's okay. You still there?
My screen's fully frozen. One sec.
You're good.
Screen's fully frozen. I can hear you though.
Okay. If you can hear me, we can hear you. So let's keep going.
Okay, yeah. So defensively, I like them. They brought in more. They're more transfer focused. Fuck.
You're still good. Well, there you go. That was good for Georgia. Okay, well, I'm going to finish out because you know what? That's good for Georgia and Texas and about a half of Alabama. Well, once I start figuring out things, it'll be great here. Well, you know what? I was gonna do 5 minutes anyway on Basayo, so I may as well finish up that way. If JMart comes back, great. But if not, then we'll just leave it at those couple of teams, and you will. Oh, there you go. I'll come back. Sweet. Good. I don't know if anybody wants.
All right.
Yeah. I was about to go. I was this close to going on a Samuel Basayo rant. So you saved everybody.
I gotta let you have that. You happy about it or you're upset?
Well, I'm happy, but just keep fucking going. We're not killing the mood. No negativity here on a Friday. I just feel like maybe I'm in the minority when I looked into the contract and I'm like, isn't he already ours for a long time anyway? It was like a couple extra years, but at the same time, it's like being excited about the world can end here in 6 months. I wanted to win the World Series. It's hard for me to be like, that's great, it's amazing. It's fine, but I'm just like not in a great mood, and other people are in a great mood. So, with that being said, where were we? Alabama's defense. Go for it.
Yes, Bama's defense. They again didn't lose a lot. Same team, just added more transfers. So I see them as like a top 10 unit in football next year. I like them. Like again, Bama's going to be a good team this year. They're going to be really solid. Don't love Ryan Grubb as an offensive coordinator on that side of the ball. Defensively, they should be solid. Like Kalen DeBoer is a great head coach. This is going to be a good team. They've all played together a lot. They added only positives in the transfer portal. They're scary. They're a team that could beat Texas. I really like them. I think that, looking at it, they are the one team outside of maybe LSU, if you squint hard enough, that can probably challenge Texas for that.
All right. So, let's go to LSU because no one likes Brian Kelly, which eventually that's got to turn, right? Like everyone can't stand him. It's an easy target, especially after Notre Dame was inches away from being the national champions. Well, maybe not inches, but they're damn close, right? So they play better. LSU gets worse. Brian Kelly's a terrible coach, terrible person. I kind of co-sign all those things, but you want to play devil's advocate a little bit because he still can coach, and the LSU team I know is loaded, whether or not they live up to it. So why don't we start with the quarterback? He's got a chance to be the number one pick in the draft. There's probably 4 or 5 quarterbacks, depending on how the next 6 months play out, that have a legit chance to be number one. Correct me if I'm wrong, but he's one of them, right?
Yeah, 100%. Like I look at Nussmeier, I loved him last year. Like he was for me the college quarterback that when he was going, I wanted him to go to the draft. I wanted him to get picked late. I thought he has a ton of potential. Him and Kyle McCord, that kind of QB archetype, I absolutely love. And I think Nussmeier is better than McCord. I think he has the weapons around him to have like a Joe Burrow-esque season offensively. Will he do it? Probably not because he isn't Joe Burrow, but he has that chance this year to have a ton of passing yards, a ton of touchdowns. He will throw the interceptions. You just got to deal with it. That's who he is. It's part of his game. You got to accept it. They are, from a talent perspective, in my opinion, the most talented team in the SEC. The issue is no one believes in Brian Kelly's ability to get that team anywhere.
Do they have – tell me about their skill players because I need the education. Start with the running backs, receivers. Do they have a best player? Are they –
I mean, they're a really good team. It's Garrett Nussmeier, and then it's Adam Anderson. He wide receiver last year, was there with Kyron Lacey. He's phenomenal. He's a really, really, really good receiver. And of course, the big thing is Caden Durham stayed. Caden Durham was the running back. Great dual threat running back. I love Caden Durham. I think him in that backfield with Garrett Nussmeier. I mean, you have a quarterback right there who I think can throw for 4,500 yards. He's that good. You have a running back there that I think in his own system could have like a 1,500, maybe a 2,000-yard total offense season if the team was designed around him. And Adam Anderson is a hyper dynamic running back, wide receiver as well. They're a really scary team. Like they're really good.
What changes did they make? Because it felt like every time I turned the TV on last year, LSU 30, 40 points they're giving up. They couldn't guard anybody. That is it Perkins in the middle? What's the middle linebacker's name?
Yeah, it was Perkins. Yeah, and
he's an amazing freshman, right? And the first time he like jumps out on the screen in their infinite wisdom. You know how I know this? All right, good. I need to get this off my chest. They changed his position, right? So one of my worst losses in my sports betting history is the first week of, was it Florida State destroyed LSU? And you remember that?
Yes.
Destroyed them. And LSU went all the way down the field, like couldn't punch it in. And half my logic for the damn game was on Perkins because he was my favorite player from the year before. Anyway, they changed his position. LSU's defense is god awful. That loss was terrible. I've hated Brian Kelly even more ever since. They couldn't tackle ever since he's been there. What's their problem with that? / can they fix it this year?
The issue is that legitimately, and listen, I have some bias. I've never liked Brian Kelly. Didn't like him at Notre Dame. Don't like him at LSU. I don't think he's a very good coach. I think he's a half decent recruiter because he's willing to do a lot of stuff other people won't to get prospects.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think he's a good coach. I think you ask him to manage a game, he can't do it. I think you ask him to motivate a team, he can't really do it. He's relying on them to be self-motivators. That's not exactly what you want at LSU. You need a guy that's going to be able to rein the players in a little bit. It's SEC football. These guys are rowdy players. I don't trust him to rein him in. If he's able to prove me wrong, then they can win the SEC. They can be a national championship.
Excuse me. So you think it's just like an energy thing? Like the talent's there, they just kind of quit. They're not disciplined. It's not necessarily.
I don't think these are players that are committed to winning for not just themselves, but for LSU and Brian Kelly. SEC football, you'll never hear a player on a winning team say that they were doing it for themselves. It was for coach and it was for the team. I think that Brian Kelly needs to figure out a way to motivate players better because he's not good at it. It was able to go under the rug in Notre Dame because these are guys that are self-motivators that play for Notre Dame, don't wear jersey. They don't wear their names in the jersey. They're playing for the team, all that. LSU is a different culture. He needs to show me that he can actually like get the most out of his players because all I've seen so far, he had Jaden Daniels. They couldn't win anything. Jaden Daniels looked worse at LSU than he did in Washington.
That's fair.
I need to see him prove to me basically that he is making these players better and not hindering them. And this is a season. Like, I think he gets fired if he doesn't win this year. He needs to really show something positive this year, or I think he's gone.
South Carolina, the highest they've been in the preseason that I can remember in a while. Talk to me about their quarterback. That he has a chance to be the #1 draft pick, and where are you at with South Carolina?
So, South Carolina, I want to be high on South Carolina. I do. I'm not biased here. The schedule's horrible. They have been screwed with schedules for the past couple seasons. This one's rough, just like any other one. And the defense lost damn near everything besides edge rusher, true freshman from last year. They lost basically everything else on the defense. I don't think the defense looks very good. The offense, on the other hand, looks great. I think the offense will be amazing. Lenore Sellers is a phenomenal quarterback. Super athlete, great with his legs, great arm on him, one of the best in college football from a throw power perspective. I just don't think they're a well-rounded team.
Mm-hmm.
And again, they were a team last year that didn't really show me the ability to finish games. You even watched them blow a game against an LSU team that's known to not be able to finish games.
That cost them the playoffs, right?
It did. And then they end up all that crap in the Illinois-South Carolina bowl game. That gets out of hand. This isn't a team that, for me, feels like they're competing for the playoff, for the title. This is a team that's probably going to sit more around 5 to 7 to 8 to 4. They're going to be closer to 6-6 than they are to being.
Wow. 2. So that would probably be your most aggressive take right now, because South Carolina is ranked number 12. They're certainly projected to do better than what you just said. So okay, we got you for that. What about Oklahoma? Mateer, is that how you pronounce his name? The quarterback.
Yeah, and obviously they have the sports betting stuff, which I mean, I don't care about. I'm sure a lot of other people just really don't.
Refresh us exactly. What are we talking about?
There are people out here that'll go through someone's Venmo transactions to try and find dirt. They found dirt on him. Apparently, he was betting on games allegedly at Washington State. I think way back.
Right, he sent somebody money and it said sports betting in the Venmo transaction, right?
And that's what this is all based on. Whether or not he did it, we are so far away from this that I do not care. And he's a great quarterback, and I'd be really pissed to lose a really good quarterback in the SEC, especially with an Oklahoma team that looks like they could be really solid this year because of something like that.
Is he getting suspended?
They're reviewing him right now. It feels like a 2-game suspension kind of thing, like slap on the wrist.
Johnny Manziel style.
What was that?
Johnny Manziel style. When he
just like act like you did something because no one really cares. Like objectively, even if you want to care, you don't. Like it's not that big.
Okay, so besides him, is Oklahoma relevant, or should we talk about somebody else?
I like Oklahoma. Just there isn't too much to say because they were super hurt last year. If they're more healthy, they should be more competitive. Again, they beat Bama last year. It's a completely different team. They lose Jackson Arnold. They lose some other guys. And again, obviously they were really, really hurt. They can be a little more healthy. They're like a 7-5, 8-4 team. I don't think they're competing for the SEC, competing for a playoff spot, but all Brett Venables should want is just a step forward at this point.
Got it. If they make the playoffs, you would be, what % chance would you give that?
Not a high one, but if they make the playoffs, I was really wrong on them first. So realistically, if they make the playoffs, you probably shouldn't listen to my opinion on Oklahoma because I don't like them for it.
What about Lane Kiffin? Jackson Dart's gone. We could talk about him with the Giants another time. Let's just call me a non-believer.
Oh, I love him.
Really?
I've been on Dart since he was my favorite quarterback outside of like the obvious going into the draft.
Wow. Okay.
I don't like him everything I see about him as a person. I like him less, but I like him as a quarterback. He's a little annoying, but I think he'll be a good quarterback. I wish it wasn't for the Giants. I really wish it wasn't for the Giants, though.
Got it. All right. Well, on the record with Jackson Dart. And what's the drop off? Who's the quarterback for Ole Miss? And is it a big drop off? Is Ole Miss relevant? They were supposed to get over the hump with him. They couldn't quite get there. Thoughts that they can get there this year?
No. I still struggle to believe in Lane Kiffin's ability to get a team there. He's really struggled with that. Mm-hmm. If you watched them last season, they lost games they shouldn't have lost. That Florida game was abysmal. But they beat Georgia. So like they had the talent to do that last year. I don't think they have that talent this year. They're still a talented team. I think this is another Lane Kiffin 9-3 team, but I just don't really believe in them. Their quarterback is a guy that was incredible in Division II. His name is Trinidad Chambliss, dual threat, solid. SEC isn't Division II football. It's tough. Like if he comes out and performs incredibly well, I would be really impressed. I just think that Lane Kiffin-led teams have been really inconsistent. Mm-hmm. I don't expect that to change. I think with a 12-team playoff, and if they are competent enough in the SEC, they could sneak into the playoffs. I just don't really see it.
All right, tell me which team is more interesting / you have a hotter take on with Missouri, Kentucky, Arkansas, Auburn. Where else we got? Mississippi State, Vanderbilt. Any of those teams worth like, man, I think this team's going to be a lot better than where people think, or I think this team is completely going to tank. Tennessee, we can throw them in there.
I really don't like. I know everyone likes them.
I'm sorry, before you keep going, I forget Texas A&M. There's 50 freaking teams in the SEC, so yeah,
I like A&M.
There you go.
I do like A&M. I like them a lot. I think Mike has a chance to take a big step forward. I like Missouri too. What's his name? Bo Pagula, I think, their new quarterback from Penn State. I think he's incredible. He seems like a great guy. I think he'll be really good. And of course, he hasn't even won the spot yet. They have another quarterback on the roster. I just can't remember who it is. But I like Missouri. They'll always be pretty dangerous. I don't like Auburn. I know everyone likes Auburn this year. Everyone always likes Auburn. Jackson Arnold just didn't show me anything at Oklahoma. I didn't really see a lot to love about Jackson Arnold, especially as a passer. I just can't get behind Auburn being competitive. Hugh Freeze is still your coach. I just really cannot think that this is going to go super well. They do look better talent-wise. Mm-hmm. I just don't think it's there. But Auburn fans are excited. I get it. This isn't a team that's going to be winning anything special. They should, 8-4 would be a really impressive season from them. They have a lighter schedule, I think. I just don't like Auburn.
Arkansas, are they ever going to be good?
Not this year, but maybe in a couple of years. It's
Fair enough. Mississippi State, are they relevant? Tennessee, let's go Tennessee for a minute. Give me thoughts on Tennessee.
Tennessee they don't have a quarterback that I like. I think that, do I think Nico, I'm not going to try it. Do I think Nico was like going to be the answer? I don't, but he was better than the next option. And so now they're kind of like, they're left out. Like they're in a weird spot now. I think Josh Heupel is a good coach. I don't think he's good enough to get them through this season in like a playoff position, but they'll be competitive. I don't like Georgia having to go to Tennessee this year because again, they still have crazy fans. I think they'll be a good team. I think they are going to upset somebody, but I don't think they're going to be necessarily like a contender this year.
Is there any momentum from the end of the year to the next year in college football these days in your mind? Like Tennessee got, absolutely destroyed by Ohio State, humiliated, embarrassed. Any carryover, or is that stuff over within the summer? What do you think?
I think you got to look at it from like, again, continuity with a team. Bama will obviously have some carryover. That Michigan loss was humiliating. Mm-hmm. I think it was almost so bad that it'll motivate them. Like it was that bad of a loss. And I think they will come back stronger.
Whereas Tennessee might just be like, fuck, we're just not that good.
Last year kind of at this point feels like it was the year and they squandered it. You don't have Dylan Sampson anymore, and that offense kind of entirely hinged around the existence of Dylan Sampson.
Not with that. Why wasn't he a high draft pick? I thought he was great. Is he just too slow?
I don't know, dude. The way running backs get drafted in the NFL makes no sense to me. I've never understood it. Derrick Henry was a second-round pick. Like, that is an insane sentence.
Have you seen Derrick Henry? We could do 3 hours on Derrick Henry.
Yeah, I could do 3 hours. Yes. Yeah. No.
Unbelievable. He is built. Unbelievable.
Yeah, and remember, this dude was 6'3" coming out of college, and every team passed on him.
Dylan Sampson's on the Browns. I swear I like the Browns roster more than most people, but
I like the Browns too, and I think the quarterback situation's fun. I always like.
What do you think about that? What would you do? Real quick on the Browns.
I like Flacco starting the year off, but I'd go to Shedeur pretty quick. Shedeur showed me more than Dylan Gabriel has. I don't like Dylan Gabriel as a quarterback.
Dylan Gabriel ruined everybody. That game was so bad because Dylan Gabriel. Ohio State was amazing that afternoon. Like, that was fun if you bet on Ohio State, I'm sure you had fun. But fuck, if you bet on Oregon, Dylan Gabriel looked like he did not belong in the game against Ohio State. So I'm not sure how he belongs in the NFL.
He's the same height as Kyler Murray, and he is no disrespect, great arm, half the athlete of Kyler Murray. And Kyler Murray struggles in the NFL too. No.
Kentucky, we don't get. Are they relevant?
No, I'm sorry. I have a cousin that goes there. They are not good.
Who's the best player in the SEC on defense that you would like to spend a minute being like, you know what, this guy probably is going to be a Hall of Famer?
Oh shoot,
Is it the LSU corner?
I think for me, it's South Carolina guy. What's his name? Damn it.
What about on offense while you try to think of it?
On offense, Ryan Williams. I think it's Ryan Williams. Ryan Williams reminds me the way he plays football of he's a Justin Jefferson archetype. He just gets open. He is incredible. And
what's the drop off with him and Jeremiah Smith in Ohio State? Is there a drop
off? Jeremiah Smith, in my opinion, is more polished right now. But I think Ryan Williams has more tools. I think he's just a more dangerous receiver. It's very similar to JMart Chase, Justin Jefferson coming out of college. Then Justin Jefferson found that second level, was able to kind of develop into more than just a route runner. Mm-hmm. But what Ryan Williams, Jeremiah Smith, I love both of them. They're both going to be just incredible for years. And then obviously, Arch Manning's going to be something special. You're a Manning with that can run now. He seems poised to be a pretty great NFL quarterback.
Alrighty, I'm gonna do while you figure out if you want to tell me about that South Carolina player.
Yeah, Dylan Stewart.
All right, tell me about him.
Dylan Stewart, true freshman last year, phenomenal. I loved Dylan Stewart last year. Dude, 6'5", 245. Those are Myles Garrett numbers.
Jadeveon Clowney situation?
Yeah, Jadeveon Clowney kind of numbers. This kid is a freak. He is really good. He's the only person that stayed on South Carolina defense that really matters. He's incredible. He is like, it's really boring a lot of the times to talk about like Hall of Fame potential on defense. I know people don't love doing it. This dude's something else, and he's still got another year to go. I'm telling you, like, book your calendars. 2027 draft class is going to be one of the most insane ones in a long time with guys like him, Ryan Williams, Jeremiah Smith. It's freaky how good some of these guys are.
What about Florida? We skipped over Florida. That shows kind of their irrelevance. And then I have a couple more for you, but Florida, tell me about them. Lagway, is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah, and I want him to take a step forward this year. Football's better when Florida is really good. And unfortunately, they once again picked a schedule that is way too hard for how good they are right now. They're not making the playoffs, unfortunately, just because, again, the schedule is so brutal. Like, I think they have a stretch of games that include, it was A&M, Tennessee, Georgia, and I think even Ole Miss is in there, and they play them all back to back to back. I want to see Lagway really improve, though. That's my main focus on this season. It should be Florida's, is see what he's got, see how good he's going to be this year. Because realistically, like, the schedule's brutal. You want to get the most out of that quarterback, see what he can become. But it's such a tough. They screwed themselves with the schedule again, and it's going to hurt Billy Napier, and it's realistically just not his fault. Like, schedule is just too bad.
Were you right or wrong on Anthony Richardson? Because his career is over, and I hate him with all my heart. He cost me so much money last year, and there's no way it's Shane Steichen's fault. Like, I've seen the Colts will plug in a random quarterback, and it's like, man, they got good weapons. Guys are open. It's all about, like, guys are open, just kind of creativity. Anthony Richardson seems done. Wouldn't be shocked if he's out of the league in 3 years. Were you right or wrong? And is Lagway anything like him?
I feel like I switched back and forth on Anthony Richardson so much. I was on both sides of the coin. I'm just disappointed. It would have been so cool to see him be a really good quarterback because his arm talent is something else, and he can run damn near with Lamar Jackson. And ultimately, he has some of the worst decision-making I've seen from an NFL quarterback maybe ever. And he somehow takes sacks, and he's super fast, and I watch him take a ton of sacks. And it's just the game sense is nowhere near there. I think he probably should have spent another year in college. Like, this is a guy that was never ready for the NFL, got rushed into an NFL starting spot, got expectations put on him, wasn't ever ready. He was never really given a chance to develop, and he wasn't good. And that's what happens. Like, sometimes you got to take an extra year in college. You almost should, like, beg to sit on the bench for a little bit because, like, that dude was never ready.
Or you have to work super hard, and he didn't work super hard. I think what got Lamar over
the get better. That's the other thing. And you're right. Like, the Lamar comparison is really strong with him. That I think Lamar falling in the draft helped him a ton. It gave him some motivation. And Anthony Richardson didn't fall. He got validated for who he already was. And who he already was a quarterback that needs to get better. Every season of Lamar Jackson's career, he's gotten better. Anthony Richardson took a step back.
It's amazing, right? Like, the mental part of it. These guys are so good. And it's a situation thing. It's no one believes in me. My mom, it's like the perfect storm to have the chip on your shoulder for Lamar. And it is the 1,000% opposite for Anthony Richardson because the Colts basically crowned him. And Steichen knows what he's doing. Whether or not you think he should be a head coach, that you can debate that. But he's an elite offensive mind. It's just the reality. The Eagles still were great last year, fine. But if you really look at some of the things that Steichen does and some of the quarterbacks he's had with the Colts, how competitive they are, I'd be careful about betting against them. I'm not advocating betting on the Colts after what happened to me last year, but they're going to be solid on offense. And they got the Bengals' former defensive coordinator. Talk about chip on your shoulder. He takes all the blame because the Bengals have no talent. But we're still finishing up college football. So, Heisman, give me some thoughts. Arch 5.5 to 1, Nussmeier 9 to 1, Klubnik from Clemson 10 to 1, Jeremiah Smith 11 to 1, Julian Sain, that's the quarterback for Ohio State, 17 to 1. Keep going. I could go forever here. There's a bunch of guys. I like Jeremiah Love, the running back for Notre Dame. I feel like he'll get. Actually, let me take that back. I like him a lot, but they'll probably split some carries. I think I read last year that he doesn't love carrying the workload. Anyway, we'd rather hear what you think. So go ahead, give me some Heisman thoughts.
Yeah, first one, I don't like Cade Klubnik. I get people do. I don't think he is I don't think any part of his game is elite. I think he's really good. He's good at everything at a college level. I need him to show me he can pass or run or do something
You
above
guys
that.
destroyed him last year, last
Yeah,
couple, right? It's been
yeah. It's he doesn't handle pressure well. He doesn't bounce back really
okay.
well. He's really good at, like, once he's in front, he plays incredible. And I think if you're a really talented player, you should be able to do that. He doesn't handle adversity the best. That being said, talking about Clemson, super talented team. He should have good numbers. He won't perform in the clutch, and that has been a thing voters have like talked about year after year after year. That's what people care about a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I don't love betting Arch Manning. I think if you're going to bet Heisman, there's better value out there than betting 5-1 on Arch Manning. I don't think he's shown me anything to say that he should be valued above a lot of these more proven guys. And I don't love Julian Sayin either. I think people also need to remember that skill position players can win the Heisman, and last year top two were skill position players. I love the idea of Jeremiah Smith. I think he's super dangerous. I think if Julian Sayin won't win it because if he puts up numbers worth winning it, Jeremiah Smith will win it over him. And I think he's a very good option there. And then outside of that, again, I said Garrett Nussmeier can put up Joe Burrow numbers. I think like it's second best odds, but he's really good. I think it's decent value there. I don't even think that LSU has to be that good because I think he can still win it. Then you're going to have a really weird situation where Brian Kelly has had two Heisman winning quarterbacks. Jaden Daniels won it, right? Yeah, right.
We'll go with you. You remember Georgia Tech played opening day in Ireland last year. There's no way I would have remembered that. So,
yeah, okay. We're gonna live in a world where Brian Kelly has had Nussmeier and Jaden Daniels and not really done anything. I like Nussmeier money. I like Jeremiah Smith money. Defensively, again, I was just talking about him. Dylan Stewart's great. And if there's someone that has the ability to do it ever, it might be Dylan Stewart this year. It might be him next year. Kid's amazing. And then also, I love Ryan Williams. If you want to do some crazy dark horse stuff, DJ Lagway is super fun. DJ Lagway is a super fun quarterback and a super athletic quarterback. He's probably the best option you'll find. If you want to get super crazy, Bryce Underwood's at Michigan. See what he's up to. I don't know. He seems pretty good.
That kind of leads me. First of all, Daniels, yes, won the Heisman. Of course, you're right. And secondly, that led me into transfer portal. First team that comes to your mind where you're like, man, they really benefited, and a team that really got hurt over the past few months in the transfer portal. Is there any teams that jump out at you?
Transfer portal. I think that Bama played that game. I love how Bama played the transfer portal because they didn't lose a lot, but they still heavily invested in the portal to really make that roster really good. Mm-hmm. Obviously, Lane Kiffin's the best at the transfer portal of any coach. He knows it. He's just great at navigating that whole situation. He's a beast at it. Georgia got smacked by it. They got in guys really well. They lost a ton. Illinois got killed a lot by losing running backs to Georgia. Like, that used to never happen. And now Illinois is losing really good players. And
is it fun to follow it? If it, like, you know, they're your age, it's your thing. Do you enjoy following it, or is it exhausting? I think older folks my age, you know, it's like, dude, I can't keep up with all this stuff.
I enjoy it when it's like really going and stuff. It can be super, super fun. Like, I like transfer portal season. It adds, it's like a second recruiting period. And that's always really fun. So I enjoy it. Obviously, it does make it a little less like there's a little less chemistry because it's more of a business now, which I do understand that people don't like that. But
you understand it all. Like, could you explain like NIL and how people are spending their money? Is there people still doing things under the table? Does it even really matter?
I think people never stop doing stuff under the table. There are incentives that you can offer that'll extend past that. I think to look at the Michigan program, see how much money they gave Bryce Underwood, see the drama they've been in recently, and think that they didn't also offer like extra perks. I think a main thing that would be an extra perk is immediate payment to these athletes while they're still in high school. That is something that these athletes would really enjoy. I think it's a thing that could be part of this that we don't hear about.
Got it. So hold on, back up. So each team spends $20 million, right? Correct?
Yes. And this,
or they are up to $20 million.
It's a cap. It's a salary cap. It's a hard cap.
Do they have to spend 20? Can they spend 15 if they wanted to?
Yeah, they can. There isn't this isn't forcing a team like a UNLV to go out and have to spend $20 million on football.
Okay.
Now, what I'm still concerned about and what will make this interesting is Title IX involvement. If you're putting a limit on male sports, technically under Title IX, there is a legitimate argument that the same limit should be on women's sports, and then therefore the investment into the two of them could be an argument that you need some kind of equitable investment there, which makes costs potentially more expensive across the board. I don't think they're going to do that because realistically, I don't think there is enough pushback on that for people to force women's sports to get compensated way past their values. But that is something I've thought of that could exist there. But yeah, it's a 20 million cap, which means naturally people are going to cheat. It's college football. People are going to cheat the system.
Is there any team that's trying to win the national championship that doesn't spend the 20 million? Or they all
realistically, I can see a team like Notre Dame potentially. Notre Dame, normally the NIL isn't as crazy out of them. Penn State maybe is one of the ones I could see being a little lower cost. And the one that I can think of just because of the coach, Clemson might keep their money a little tighter just because of how Dabo is.
And who's making the decision on dispersing the 20 million? Coach, or is all these teams now have general managers? And
I think you hire a general manager. I wouldn't trust Kirby Smart to allocate funds realistically.
Yeah, talk to me okay, so the general manager basically has 20 million to pay, and how many guys are we talking on the roster?
I mean, this is what these teams are like. I think they're probably paying 40 guys.
40 guys. So not everybody on the team is actually going to get paid, correct?
There will be guys that are getting paid probably just their scholarships. They're just getting their full ride, which they can offer as compensation. And then there will be guys who will be getting negligible NIL contributions. So they be getting $1,000 a semester. It essentially offers a secondary scholarship on top.
Is it all public? Does the left tackle on Georgia know? Does everybody know how much money he's making?
That's what really concerns me about this is the public knowledge side of this makes it messy. These are 18-year-olds on this team.
So we all do know. We know exactly how
no, they don't know yet. But I think if you're having to put a hard cap, that means you're having to report how much money you're paying directly, which means that will become public knowledge.
So right now it's not supposed to be public.
It doesn't have to be because it's individual contributions. But once it comes directly from a university, they're now technically, I think Trump did something to not make them state employees. They're being paid by the state now, which means that it is money that has to be essentially they're going to have to, I'd assume, tell people how much they're paying them.
So right now you couldn't tell me how much the middle linebacker is actually getting paid on Georgia.
No, I mean, realistically, I could reach out to him. He'd probably tell me, but I couldn't tell you that.
What about within the team? What do you think with I know you're not.
They for sure talk about it. No, the way I know a couple guys that play sports in college, and they are very proud to talk about what their NIL is, and they make. I know a backup kicker that was getting $40,000 a year.
Interesting. So they get that. So within that 20 million, then outside of that, can we have car dealerships offer money as well and different things, or no? That's
the thing is, I think the way it worked is. I don't think so, because I think the way they made it was 20 million NIL, and even out of that money, you have to be able to prove that it's coming from there is a specific business benefit to the person giving the money. It is a weird situation. I don't know it super well. All I know is it's a lot of regulations that I don't think the NCAA is prepared to deal with, because I already know people have figured out loopholes. People are already going to cheat. It's a tough situation. College sports are messy. People are going to break the rules and fuck with the system. Mm-hmm. It's how it's always been. I'm excited to see the scandals that come out of it, though, because they're going to be crazy ones, and it'll be super exciting to see.
Yeah, and that's then we'll kind of get you out of here in a few minutes. But that's what the gambling, to bring it back to the gambling, that's why I would say, man, if you want to bet on these games, I feel like it's I don't know, the random coins on like in the crypto world where you have no idea if they're going to be the one that pop. Like if you like that kind of stuff, I'm not saying you're a bad person, but if you think that there's not so much other different things going on going into these games and the money, everything just comes back to money when you don't have it. There's certain things, or you're trying to make it, or you're just a young guy in general, right? Like everybody, it's kind of hard to turn that part of your brain off. So betting on these games becomes somewhat impossible, like with so much confidence. Like you almost have to keep it just football. But if you were really going to bet a lot of money, you would almost want to do the investigations, right? And try to figure out what are the dynamics in this particular locker room. Is everybody happy with the way money is being dispersed? And then just in general, like it's hard to really predict exactly what the motivation is for each kid because they got to get paid. They got to get paid, especially in football, right? So anyway, coaching, and then I got two more things for you. Then we'll roll. But coaching, any new coaches throughout college football that you're like, man, I'm really excited to see what this team's going to do, or hey, fade this coach because he always sucks and he's in a new spot.
Huh. I don't like Hugh Freeze right now. I think he is a bad coach.
Auburn, right?
Yeah, at Auburn. I just don't think he's good.
What about Ohio State? Let me go right to what was on my mind is Ohio State's offense. They lose Chip Kelly, and I don't want to go through the whole Big Ten. I want you to kind of focus on the SEC, and it'll be more fun to go game by game. And start next week, we'll get into some other teams, but I do want to go Ohio State. They're the defending champs. They looked amazing. They got a brand new quarterback and a brand new offensive coordinator. Talk to me about what Ohio State offense is going to look like.
Yeah, I mean, Georgia went through a similar thing, losing offensive coordinator and quarterback same year, and they took a step down. They're the fifth best team after that, after winning back-to-back natties. There's a honeymoon period. There's a reason Ohio State isn't getting ranked as high as other teams. The talent's still pretty much there. New system's weird. I like Ohio State still. I think Julian Sand's great. I think Jeremiah Smith's great. I think that whole offense is still great, but they're going to take a step back. But that being said, that's not saying they still can't win at all. Like they were so good last year that a step back doesn't mean much. I think Ryan Day's kind of beat the skeletons in the closet out a little bit. I feel like I think he's stepping into a new era of himself, which is a little scary to say. I think he could be an incredible coach going forward. He's a much more confident coach than I've seen him be in a very long time. They're a dangerous team. But obviously losing Chip Kelly is massive. Like that's one of the best offensive minds in football period of the 2000s. And it hurts to lose them. They aren't going to be the same team. They will lose games that they wouldn't have lost last year. They're still a national championship contender until they show me that they just aren't.
Penn State and Oregon national championship contenders.
Oregon always spend money. I don't see Oregon being too dangerous. They lost a ton. Regardless of how you feel about a guy like Tez Johnson, how good he might be, and obviously I think they kept Evan Stewart, but losing Tez Johnson's massive. I'm interested to see how good Dante Moore looks at quarterback, but it'll be interesting. I think they have too much variance at quarterback to be real natty contenders. Penn State's interesting, but again, I'm not a big Drew Aller guy. We'll see how it goes. I never really trust Penn State to win much, but they might be able to. I see them at the least making the college football playoff.
Notre Dame better this year, or should they have won the championship last year? That was their chance.
They look good. Losing Riley Leonard's a ton. This is a team that's going to have to rely even more on the run than they did last year. And they have I've been talking to my Notre Dame buddy. He told me that their tight end's really good. And he told me that their receivers got better from last year, but they don't have a quarterback that can necessarily get him the ball as well. Mm-hmm. I think they'll be interesting. Defense will still be strong. Run game's strong. This is a standard Notre Dame team, like I think a top 10 kind of Notre Dame team. But I'm really interested to see how they play against – I forgot who they're playing week 1. I know it's a good game. I'm interested to see how that goes.
Carson Beck, you hate him still?
You know what? I wish him the best in Miami. I hope he has a great season. Because
is that possible? Is Miami going to be good?
They invested heavily. That's who Notre Dame's playing week 1. They play Miami. And I think that'll be a super great test for both of them. I would love Carson Beck to go out there, ball out on the Notre Dame defense, show how good he could have been for Georgia in that game if he wasn't hurt. But from what I've been hearing, the football throwing is down. The velo is really bad. There's some lingering arm issues, I think, from, again, the dude needed Tommy John. Like, his arm was wrecked from that Texas game. If the arm strength is dead, if he doesn't really have any control over that deep ball anymore, he's not a good quarterback. Doesn't have good decision making. He is immobile. But if the arm strength's great, he's a really good quarterback still. I think Miami's scary, but I don't see them doing too much because they've always struggled to be a consistent team with Cristobal.
Got it. Any baseball takes? Why are the Brewers so good?
Fuck me, I don't know. It's pissing me off. I saw them play live in Seattle. The lineup had nothing in it. They were starting dudes I didn't even know were real people, and they won 6-0. And Brandon Woodruff's throwing 92 up there, and they can't touch him. I don't get it, but they're apparently the best team ever.
They are. Are they? You got any World Series predictions? Any way we can make some money? Are the Braves going to make a run?
The Braves are making a little bit of a run. I'm proud of us right now. We're not making anything because we don't have any pitchers. But
who wins the NL West? Dodgers, Padres.
I'm gonna say Padres because I don't want the Dodgers to win it. I want to see the Padres win it. And World Series, I really like the Blue Jays. I don't think anyone can really touch the Blue Jays out west or out in the American League.
Isn't it ridiculous what Kershaw's doing though?
Yeah, it's pissing me off, man. He doesn't stop. Dodgers have 7 other guys they can run out there every single game. They're good. They're good. But National League, my one hot take, I really like the Cubs. I think the Cubs are playing bad right now. I think they have enough time to peak before the season ends, and they're in one of those positions like the Phillies from a couple years back, the Diamondbacks from a couple years back. You don't want to be playing against a team that gets hot right at the end. Cubs feel like a team that could get hot right at the end. Kyle Tucker's a great postseason bat. I think they could be scary.
Fair enough. Biased. Any WNBA takes on your mind? MLS soccer? Anything else you got going on?
Let's see. Arsenal looks great for the Premier League. Just signed Eze. Super excited about that. And I'm enjoying the UFC less and less every title fight.
Will you be a Paramount subscriber?
I am. So I get the fights now for free.
Will everybody do that? That's like a no-brainer, right?
Yeah, you take that because now I don't have to complain about spending money to watch Hamzat lay on Drickus for 20 minutes. I can just get it for free.
I was thinking about it. I was just talking to one of my other friends. I was like, we're getting screwed over every time you turn around. Like, you have to get everything to get NFL, MLB, like the major sports. But UFC fans and wrestling fans, they're the ones that are winning. It's like everything's on one spot now forever for the rest of it's just funny. With whatever, right, is on Netflix, and now UFC's on Paramount Plus. So great. All right, I'm gonna see you next week. We're gonna get this live stream figured out one way or the other. If we gotta buy a new computer, then we will. But we took way too long to finally get rolling. But appreciate you. I feel like I learned some things. I'm not sure exactly what I'm betting on yet, but appreciate you filling my brain.
I don't know either. All right, we'll find out. We'll find out.
I was gonna say we'll record. So just to recap it, Kansas State. You do like Kansas State tomorrow. So
that is the one bet. Yes, I think Kansas State can cover. Cool. And I like the over.
Got it. You like Avery Johnson, and that's quarterback for Kansas State. You like the over. We'll record, or we'll go live at some point next week, and then that way all the games are starting. There's football forever. So. All right, man. Appreciate you. And, see you next week.
Yeah, see you.
All right, bro.